you heard of the 666? It's 6-pack, 6-figure salary and 6 foot.
Like, how important are they when you know the person? Today I'm joined by journalist and charity founder Delphine.
Hi everyone!
And we were literally just chatting about Delphine's charity, which she's just founded,
So adorable.
which is pairing older dogs with older people for companionship.
Canine companionship,
Oh
which is a
my
bit of a tongue twister.
But we are going to talk about the kind of people that we date and this idea of almost having like a checklist or a type.
Yeah.
Do you have a type?
In my 20s, I really didn't. I think I was very eclectic with my dating. It was all kind of different races, shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I think now, especially since digging deeper into my faith, like I know more what I want. And also like now I'm in my 30s, I'm like dating for marriage, which I know sounds really scary. And everyone's like, don't put that on your profile. But it's basically what you're doing. So you're really trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think by your 30s, you know yourself a bit more as well.
Yeah. Okay then. So is there a physical attribute that you see in someone and you're like, that's just not my type? Or conversely, like, ding, 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 I know I find that attractive.
Interesting. So you know how they say that you're attracted to people who kind of look like you?
Or your dad.
Oh, no. Oh, no, not that. I think it's kind of,
Okay, do you fancy people who look like you?
So I quite like racially ambiguous people, which sounds really weird.
Okay.
So I'm half Chinese, but often people are like, oh, I maybe thought you were from, and then they just list a random place.
Sure.
I matched with someone who's half Japanese, and I basically matched with him because my first thing was, are you half East Asian? Just because I felt a bit of like solidarity, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, in general, not really. I don't have like a set type, but I do think I'm drawn to people that I feel kind of similar to.
Okay, yeah. Do you think it's okay to have a type based on looks?
Not really. I think it's normal because I think it's what you're comfortable with. So for example, like I didn't really grow up with like blondes in my family. So I guess like for me, I'm just not as used to having like blondes around me, which sounds weird, but so I guess I'm maybe not as comfortable if I see a blonde thinking, oh, you remind me of like my brother or my cousin or something.
Yeah, something you're less familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. Although I have dated a blonde before, but so maybe I think it's more of a familiarity thing, but it's not like a principle. It's not like I wouldn't swipe or I wouldn't kind of talk to you if you looked like this. It's just what you're used to, I think.
So I did put this out on Instagram.
What did they say? What did social media say?
I started off just by asking quite a straightforward question. In dating, would you say you have a type?
Yeah.
What do you think people said? What percentage of people said, yes, I've got a type?
I think probably like 70% said yes.
61.
Okay.
So that's,
Okay,
that's
so
you're in the right, you're in the right
People more
ballpark.
open, that's good.
Yeah, okay. I asked people next, is that type focused on like physicality or personality?
Nice.
What do you think? And also, I think we've got to bear in mind, not everyone's going to be completely honest.
Yeah. I think on social media, people would have definitely said personality.
What percentage do you think said personality?
65%.
68%. You're really good at this. I've played this game before, but you're really nailing it. I think not all of those people are telling the truth, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because I do think, and I've heard people say it before.
Yeah.
I've heard men say that they would want to date someone athletic, and what they mean is slim.
Okay.
I've heard other men say, no, I really like someone curvy. Right. Like,
okay.
I like someone who, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So, and then I've heard women say, he has to be taller than me. And I've heard men say, she has to be shorter than me.
Okay, yeah.
And I've heard some friends say, well, I've got some friends who their type is, someone from a certain race, like women really liking black guys. Like, how important are they when you know the person?
Yeah, but you don't know the person when it's on an app, which is the hard thing, isn't it? Because that's the first, because I suppose like if it's a friendship that's going to lead into dating or something.
Then you probably wouldn't think those things through as much.
Because you know them. Yeah, it's so hard when you're kind of judging on that first. Do I have an attraction to that person?
Yeah.
I think that is hard.
I get a lot of messages from men who are shorter. They're not like, I'm not even talking like, 4'11" here.
Yeah.
We're talking about men who are 5'8".
Okay.
Saying people discount them because
Yeah.
they are a similar height, or once the woman puts heels on, and stuff like that. And actually,
I don't like wearing heels anyway, it's fine. No, but I think the thing with that though,
I'm a trainer's gal.
when you see the number, like when you see like 5'8", it's so different than when you just meet someone. You don't.
And they just are living in a 5'8" body. You don't even think about it.
You don't think about it, but I guess it's like the numbers kind of just like, okay.
But I think if you happily announce, I only date this, I only date that.
Yeah, it's tokenizing, it's not.
It is. You're not seeing people as the person they are.
Yeah.
You're seeing them as the race and culture.
Yeah. I have had experiences where I've met someone and they've kind of talked about being really, because I'm half Chinese, obsessed with East Asia, and then all their ex-girlfriends have been East Asian, and then I just get a little bit like, oh, okay, what is it about me that you like?
Yeah.
You know, like, is it just
Yeah.
that where I'm from, my heritage, or is it actually my personality?
Yeah. Desire and lust is about what you can get from someone.
Yeah.
And love is about what you can give them.
Definitely.
And actually, if you're looking at people through the lens of what can I give you, then the package they come in is totally irrelevant.
Completely. I think especially when I was younger, and I think that kind of culture where it's the list of like, oh, well, I want them to have a good job and I want them to be like, have a car. And
We haven't even talked about
like,
jobs
all
and
this kind of
cars.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, but wait, but like I have a job, I have a car. Like, is that important? Obviously, I want someone who is employed. just because obviously that's like a hard-working ethic, but it doesn't need to be a massive earner or something like that. So it is interesting.
If you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We've got so much good stuff coming up on the Salt YouTube channel. We know that there are people for whom there is a big draw to someone who earns a lot of money.
Oh yeah, they might not have said it on your Instagram, but
They
yeah.
might not have said it on my
people
Instagram,
like
but that is, and I
Have you heard of the 666? Which I find really unnerving because obviously it's the devil's number, right? 666. But it's 6-pack, 6-figure salary and 6 foot.
Oh my
And like there are some kind of women who that's kind of like their checklist.
6-pack, 6 foot, 6-figure salary.
Yeah. And it's horrible because it's so objectifying. It's like, oh.
I just think you just never know someone's story.
You don't.
You never know what they've come through, what they've achieved, what they've battled, and how that has formed their personality.
Totally.
Just by their height, or just by their dress sense, or just by their race, or just by their gorgeous model face. Is it okay to have a type based on physical appearance? I.e., I'm only attracted to people who are shorter, taller, a certain race, slim, curvy, muscles, dress a certain way. What percentage of people do you think said, yep, totally fine?
Okay, and this is the Instagram percentage, so they're not being 100% honest. Oh, I feel under pressure because I've been really good at this so far.
I know, it'd be a shame to let the ball drop now.
58%.
71.
Oh, wow.
So you're not miles off, you're like
But that's
13% out. It's a funny one because I think it's so important, as we've said, to appreciate the person for who they are, not what they look like.
Yeah.
But also, you do need to know yourself and know, we can't pretend that attraction within a relationship isn't important.
No, and I mean the good thing is, like you were saying before, that there were some men who want like slender and some men who want curvy. Is that we all have different tastes, which is the good thing, because it'd be really like bad if we all were attracted to the same people.
I think acknowledging your preferences is totally fine.
I think that's okay. Yeah.
But I do think that if
being
you
open.
say, you say I would only date someone like that,
Oh, yeah.
that's when you're missing out on something. What I also thought was the language around this is important.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about a type and, oh, he's 100% my type on paper and all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? But if you flip it and you talk about non-negotiables, and that kind of makes you sound like a bit more Christian word alert, intentional.
Yes. Intentional. Yes.
And
okay.
Suddenly I feel like if someone goes, oh no, I don't have a type, I have a few non-negotiables, I'm like, there's someone who's got their stuff together.
Yes.
There's someone who knows what they're looking for.
okay.
They're not shallow. They just know what's important. They've got boundaries.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So do you have non-negotiables in dating?
Yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to my friend about this, saying that like it's a Father Mike Schmidt's quote, which is you can have preferences and principles. So you can have like things, right? So you can have things which is like, yes, I would like this from you, but it's not like a deal breaker.
Okay.
And then you've got the deal breakers.
Okay.
So like
I love that.
So I'm vegetarian, and when I was like 20, I think I was like, I want a vegetarian, and I thought it was a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
Only because I think at the time I was a bit like, oh. And now that's not. It's something. It's probably a preference for me to have someone who'd be open to eating more vegetarian or open to eating like more organic or healthily.
It'd be hard work to cook 2 meals every
I also can't cook meat, so I mean, I now I'm learning from my dog, so that's quite good. But yeah, like principles for me, it's very much like my faith.
Yeah.
So I'm Catholic, so like my faith is really important to me. Also like the more like a proverb style man, you know, like a kind of spiritual leader, someone who's like, what do they say? Slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to anger,
Lovely,
these kind of personality traits. Loyal, steadfast for me. Like I just need someone who is like legit. I just think I can't see myself walking with someone who's like really, really at a stage where they just can't commit to a relationship or kind of give themselves.
All right, so I think my principles would be faith is super important to me as well. Or would it be a complete deal breaker? At the moment, I think it is.
Yeah, I think
At the moment, I think it is.
I think that spiritual union is like the most important thing that you need with someone.
They have to be kind, 100%. They have to be kind. They have to treat me with respect. I guess a preference would be that they are in a job that they are really passionate about.
When I see people's profiles that say the preference is like watching Netflix, playing games, I'm a bit like, just because I'm not personally like a big TV watcher, so I'm like, it just wouldn't be a good alignment. If it's someone who's literally like every weekend I want to binge on a box set. I guess it's more of a preference though. That's probably a preference.
I'd say that's 100% a preference.
Yeah,
that could not be a deal.
No, it's not a deal breaker.
Because you'd meet in the middle. You'd do Saturday box set, Sunday hike. Okay, so when I asked people, what if we talk about non-negotiables rather than a type? Is it okay to have a list of non-negotiables?
Yeah.
What percentage do you think said yes?
80%.
94.
94. Okay, that's good. I think that's promising.
I think we're landing on
Yeah.
the difference between superficial type
Yes.
and very important boundaries within dating relationships. So do you want to hear some of the stuff? Because I also put it out, was like, right,
Free text.
Yeah, just go wild, people. So a lot of the people follow me are Christian.
Right.
And that is the thing that came up consistently. So loves Jesus completely, Christian.
Yeah.
After that, I'd say kind and funny were ones that ranked quite high.
Okay.
Someone who's respectful to me. No mullets.
But that can change.
That's a non-negotiable for
Grow that
someone.
out. You could shave it off.
I've got clippers.
Yeah.
So
Could have such a beautiful heart and a beautiful face. I'll just be like, okay.
totally. Yeah. They have to agree that women can lead and preach, is what one person said. Walking boldly with God. Has decided to wait until marriage. I mean, you could really struggle if someone was like decided they definitely didn't want to wait till marriage. What about adventurous, compassionate, no debt, someone said?
It depends what kind of debt they're talking about. Like, it's talking about like massive gambling debt or like, because a mortgage is debt, technically.
Mortgage is debt.
Student loan.
Yeah. It's how they've accumulated that debt and what they've done with the money. Someone who wants kids, if that is really on your heart, then I do agree that is a non-negotiable. If you're certain that children is something you'd want. One that came up loads. Smoking. People do not want to date a smoker. Would you date a smoker?
No.
Okay.
But for me, really, the non-negotiable for me is if there's a profile, especially on Salt, and they don't mention God. That is actually, it doesn't matter how good looking they are.
Okay.
How like, you know, amazing their other answers are. If they don't mention God, I'm just like, oh. And the thing is, like, one word answers, and I'm a bit like, okay, but are you actually dating intentionally, or are you just on the app because you're bored? I don't know, maybe I'm being too judgy, which I don't want to be. I don't want to be judgy, but I think there has to be some criteria, otherwise you're saying yes to everyone, because I'm like, oh, well, you seem like a nice person, and then it's overwhelming because it's too much. I guess also, like, for me, I like the church stuff, but I really want to know what their personal relationship is with God.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to know, like, what's your prayer life like? What are you going to be kind of bringing to, you know, because I want someone who's going to help me grow my faith as well, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's something I like to tease out, like, I'd say not later down the line, but in conversation or in the first few days.
Yeah, when there's like loads of messages, nothing about God, I'm a bit like,
Okay.
Which maybe is bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm too intense.
No, I think you should open up.
Maybe I'm too intense.
I think you should. And next time on Therapy with Lauren, I think that you've got to do what's right for you. I think that you and God write your story.
Yeah.
But I do also think that allow someone a little bit of time to get into that, because I often don't want to spiritually connect with someone until I know if we can have casual conversation.
That's very interesting, actually, because I had a thing where I had very strong spiritual union with someone, and that was kind of the main thing. And I remember thinking, oh, but isn't that all that matters? And my sister was like, no, you do also need to live in the world together. So I agree with you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I've loved hearing your opinion. We are here every week, every Friday, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more content from us on the Salt YouTube channel.